spot, and go.
Hello everyone, my name is Abdurrahman Barry. I want to introduce you to day 19.
Wait. That was too fast.
Oh.
Unless I slow it all the way down. Tell them your name again.
Okay. My name is Abdurrahman Barry. And I want to introduce you to day 19 of the Pulmonary Wellness online program. The thought of the day, or the motivation of the day is, keep it up. That's it.
All right, have a great day, everybody. Day 19, let's do this. Anything else?
That's all.
All right, it is time for the question of the day. Question of the day, and it comes from Rod and Hazel Peterson. Rod and Hazel. This is what it says. It says, cool, but I don't remember what she was replying to or he was replying to. Back about 1960, I started to, quote, play with meditation. There wasn't a lot of information available to me back then. After a while, I noticed that I seemed to get that peaceful, all is well feeling when walking, riding my bike, swimming laps, etc. Fast forward to more recently. I read some stuff online about relaxing, starting with the feet and slowly moving up the body. It worked, at least sometimes. Most recently, I discovered that when I had a pain in my body, I could sit, breathe, calm down, and ask that pain what it wanted. It helped. Sometimes the pain went away completely. I live in a tiny community in rural Canada, and sharing some of this merely gets me judged as, quote, crazy, or having a religious person tell me I have a demon or something inside of me, so I tend to keep quiet. Any thoughts? P.S. I'm pretty sure this won't work to cure an attack of appendicitis or a broken bone. All right, so do I have any thoughts? Yes. You crazy. No, I'm just kidding. You're actually not crazy. You're actually a amateur physiologist. You're an amateur physiologist because everything that you're talking about really comes down to physiology, right? So when people talk about meditation, they're often talking about many different things because there's many different types of meditation, there's many different schools of meditation, etc., etc., etc. And meditation can mean many things to many different people, but in a nutshell, we often think of it as Fred Flintstone going, shalaboom, shock, shock, shalaboom, shock, shock, shalaboom, shock, shock, shalaboom, shock, shock. All right, but let me talk about your post, okay? Back in about 1960, you started to, quote, play with meditation. It was the 60s, you might have been playing with medication also, but let's stay on track. There wasn't a lot of information to me back then. After a while, I noticed that I seemed to get that peaceful, all is well feeling when walking, riding my bike, swimming laps, etc. So what does this remind you of that we have spoken about already in the past? What it should be reminding you of is the autonomic nervous system and the fight or flight response, which is the sympathetic nervous system, and the parasympathetic nervous system, which is the rest and digest and the heal and be well, okay? So we talk a lot about the effect of adrenaline on our system, the fact that the sympathetic nervous system is there when we get irritated. This is the fight or flight response that came about as an adaptation so that if the caveman was walking and picking berries and a pterodactyl tried to steal him away, he could either fight the pterodactyl and go home to his family, or he could flee and find his way back to his family. But we have these powerful sympathetic responses all day, every day, in response to minor infractions, in response to perceived slights by others, in response to Facebook, in response to texting, in response to Twitter, and all this social media garbage, etc., etc., etc. Okay, so our bodies are constantly spilling out adrenaline or epinephrine, and the problem with that is that that is very taxing on the system. Okay, epinephrine or adrenaline causes your blood vessels to constrict and increases the pressure on the walls of the arteries and increases the shearing forces on the walls of the arteries, making them more prone to injury. It increases the pressure and the workload on the heart, okay? And the thing is that when that caveman was walking around, when he had this explosive discharge of adrenaline, he was going to use it to either fight the pterodactyl or to run for his life. The problem is, in today's times, we don't use that adrenaline because most of us don't have to fight a pterodactyl and most of us don't have to run for our lives, thankfully. So that adrenaline winds up just doing things like raising our heart rate, raising our respiratory rate, raising our blood pressure, making us anxious, etc., etc., etc. And then we have this feedback loop where it goes back to squeezing the arteries, increasing the workload on the heart. You get the idea. So when you are walking, riding your bike, swimming, laps, etc., you are using up that adrenaline. You are decreasing the sympathetic impact on your body, and you are actually causing the blood vessels to dilate, decreasing the workload on the heart, allowing for relaxation and allowing you to feel good and to feel that all is well. Fast forward to more recently. You read some stuff online about relaxing, starting with the feet and slowly moving up the body. It worked, at least sometimes. Most recently, I discovered that when I had a pain in my body, I could sit, breathe, calm down, and ask that pain what it wanted. It helped. Sometimes the pain went away completely. I live in a tiny community in rural Canada, and sharing some of this merely gets me judged as crazy, so I tend to keep quiet. So again, the sympathetic nervous system will cause you pain. The sympathetic nervous system will cause you anxiety. The sympathetic nervous system will respond and cause you stress. And when you're in pain, and when you are stressed, and when you are irritated, what happens? We put out even more of that adrenaline. So when you are in pain, when you're on sympathetic overload, when you're irritated, those are the times to get into the practice of breathing. The healing power of the breath, the replenishing, the nourishing, healing, love, beauty, calm breath. And at those moments when you're in pain, whether it be physical or emotional, whether it be stress, anxiety, or depression, whether it be irritation, anger, or hostility, those are the times for breath. Those are the times to be breathing in through your nose and out gently through your mouth. Deep breath in and out. Deep breath in through your nose and out. Deep breath in and out. All righty.